Bitcoin reaching all-time highs, touched $112,000. And now it seems, at least by the time I'm recording, that it is correcting some of this overextension that it had. We saw in a matter of days, Bitcoin going from 102,000 all the way to $112,000. And that is awesome for crypto as a whole, because we see this movement going straight to altcoins, especially now that also Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, Dogecoin, these are all seeing the movement here from the Bitcoin rally. But also part of the movement that we had today, that the correction that we had today was, of course, not only because it is overextended, but you guessed it, because of Donald Trump. And that reflected also on futures for the US market. So let's take a look at all of this in today's video. So as you are familiar, let's take a look at our coins right now. Let's actually start with Bitcoin, which currently is at 109,553. We have Ethereum at 2,582, XRP at 237, BNB at 672. Also, another very good thing that we see today is that in the past 2 or 3 days, our copy trading has been performing fantastically. You can see we are at 3.88%. Look at how insane this is. We were what, 1.8 in the last video? I think that was 1.89, and right now we are at 3.88. So we went up 2% in a matter of a few days, which is fantastic, and we are now for a total of 88.9, so 89% returns since this strategy started, which is now 1 year old. So we made 89% in a whole year of trading. Is fantastic. Thank you to everyone for joining, and thank you to the team, which has huge traders, huge specialists here that are allowing you to have this huge return on this copy trading strategy. Now let's take a look at the charts. Let me actually change, and let's take a look right here, starting with Ethereum, which had a correction, a drop all the way to the 2,500 flat, so 2,500. It corrected. If we switch to the 4-hour, you can see this huge movement followed by this green candle right here, which is bullish for us. We kind of reset the RSI right here. For Bitcoin, we also saw a huge movement on the 4-hour charts. You can see in a matter of just a few candles, we saw all the way to the $107,000 for Bitcoin, and then a huge recovery here, still in the same candle, which forms a very bullish pattern. We also flushed the RSI, which was overbought at one point, and this is bad for people who were leveraged, so they got liquidated. A lot of people got liquidated, most likely, but this is good because we flushed the RSI, which shows us that we could have another leg up if market conditions apply. As we can see right here, if this follows what happened right here or right here, we already tested the moving average right here, which could bring us to maybe 114, 15, maybe even 120 in this following week. For Solana, it was very fast, so we went down below the moving average and back up in a matter of less than 1 hour, and now we are testing again the top of this range that we had right here. Hopefully we stay above, and if that happens and we test it again, it becomes the next strong spot for Solana to rest on in case it needs to flush and wait out for a new leg up. So now let's go back to why Trump is the culprit of making things worse for crypto today, actually the whole world. But just for a little bit, as we saw, the market flushed and then it kind of picked up again. Most likely when the S&P 500, when the stock market opens, we're going to see a gap, and closing that gap should be the same thing that we saw last time when I told you that we're going to have a gap. We opened way below the last price from the day before, and then we ended up closing that gap. As per usual, when you open with a gap, you usually tend to correct and close that gap as soon as possible. The market tries to do that super fast. So Trump re-escalates trade streets, aiming at Apple and the EU. So what is he trying to do now? We can actually read right here that he's threatening to impose a 25% tariff on Apple for any Apple sold in the US if they don't move production into American soil. So what does that mean for you? If you were one of the few that were saying, you know, tariffs are good, more money for the economy, this is not going to affect the Americans, this is not going to affect our population, and you saw the price of eggs, you saw the price of dairy, you saw the price of everything in your local grocery store going up a lot. Guess what? Now your iPhone, your tech is going to go up in price even more, because if Trump keeps this promise, two things can happen. Your iPhone is going to go up in price because production will be expensive in the US. This is why they go outside. It is not immigrants' fault. It is no one's fault but the manufacturers to go outside to outsource production because it is cheaper on other countries like China, like Taiwan, like India, like any of these countries. Labor is cheaper there. So this is why they go there. So if Apple produces in the US, your iPhone could be 30-40% more expensive, and that will hurt Apple. And if Apple does not go back to production in the US, guess what? They're going to be taxed 25% on every iPhone sold. And then you might say, well, I'm not going to pay that. Guess what? The prices are going to go up because they need to keep profits up, meaning that they're going to get those taxes and they're going to pass it on to you, the consumer. And also he's targeting EU specifically on luxury items, pharmaceuticals, and other goods produced by the European manufacturers. So if you love your Gucci, your Prada, your Dolce & Gabbana, and all your jewelry, guess what? Most of these come from Europe and they're going to be taxed. So everything that you like to spend and brag on, they're going to go up in price because most of these are European made. So looking at the US 500, this is futures. So this has updated data, live data. You can see how in a matter of a few hours, we dipped quite a lot, over 1.5%, but now we are correcting back again, still 0.87 in the red, but you see that everything, Dow Jones, S&P 500, US 500, everything did go down because of this Trump situation once again. So we're most likely going to see the gap being closed today, hopefully, but that does not mean that things are all good, because again, Trump could make the market crash, and that would be a flash crash, just like we had a few weeks back when the tariffs made a huge hole in crypto, commodities, forex, everything, stock market, everything went down 20% in a matter of hours, days, just because Trump is trying to impose tariffs all over the place. So hopefully, as I'm seeing right here, things are picking up back for Ethereum, Bitcoin, and crypto. So that is good for us. We are still selling puts. We're still collecting premium. So that is awesome. Hopefully you're doing well as well with your positions or just by using the copy trade. Again, first link in the description if you want to join and deposit your money here with us. So thank you very much. I'll catch you guys on Monday. So have a good weekend and stay safe. Peace.